welcome to What's the Story? My name is Janice Hermson. I am your host, and I'm here with Ed Knoll.
Hey, Jan.
Hey, this is becoming a regular thing.
Yeah, I'm liking this.
I know, it's fun. So, if you have just tuned in, this is What's the Story, and we're on every week between 3 and 5. I was going to say 7 and 9 because 7 and 9 is on 93.7, which is in Northern Nevada. If you're a Northern Nevada resident, you can listen to us there every Tuesday, we hope.
Well, it's strange, right, when you're... the weather's been bad, and I've had occasion to drive my truck, and the audio-visual setup is less than stellar, right? I have AM radio, I have FM radio, and I happened to turn on the American Matters, and there you were.
Yeah, and you.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of odd listening to yourself on the radio.
It is, yeah. I found the same thing. I was like, oh, that's me.
I'm like,
oh.
Well, right. I was like, oh, really?
It is a very odd thing. You might not think that, we've been doing this a long time, but I don't know, you just don't, usually we were live on the radio, so you wouldn't be listening to that replay. And now we're live streaming, and then we replay on the radio. So it's just different because, you can be driving home and flip on that station, and there you are.
Right.
And
hopefully we're talking about something that makes us sound like we have a clue.
Yeah, that we have a couple of clues, right? So if you have not, you need to subscribe to my Substack, which is hermson.substack.com. And if you give me a second here, I'll see if I've got it up. I don't know if I do today. I don't think I do. So anyway, but hermson.substack.com. It will tell you what's going on in the every week for our show. And I think I have it on this other computer, and I was going to run it from here, and I didn't do that. I'm going to say I'm trying to adjust things, make my life better. Sometimes I make it a little harder, but that's okay, right? So what do we got on the agenda today? We have a word of the day.
Filch.
Filch, yes. That's a pretty easy one. I wanted to kind of take a break here, and we gave thanks, and now I wanted to rest.
Yeah.
So filch was a good word.
I want to see the hands up of everyone named Filch. I think someone listening is named Filch.
They might be. Yeah, that was something that, first thing that Ed did as soon as I sent that word is he said, oh, butler.
That's exactly what I thought. That was the name of a butler.
Yes, and he's right if you read Harry Potter.
Yep.
If you don't, you didn't know that. So there you go, right?
That's right. I forget about Filch's cat.
So I got to use the word today because I had an author call and say that they had been approached to distribute their books. And they were calling to ask, is this something that maybe I should take advantage of? How does that compare to what you guys are doing? And so it was kind of funny because I said, and I'm going to tell you who it was. It was Penguin Author House. And I said, they're trying to filch our authors. Yep. And Ed, tell them what you said.
So it's not filch, it's purposeful and spiteful and mean. They're after business like all big companies, and they don't filch anything, right? It's purposeful.
It's true.
Best I know, filch is stealing a donut from a bunch of realtors and policemen.
Yeah. That's filch. Filch is petty theft. It's little.
Yeah.
And if you look, I looked in my old dictionary, which I
might filch like a cup of sugar.
Yeah.
Right. Or when I run out of coffee, I do sneak over to Steve and Janice and just use their Keurig. I sneak in there, run it, and if they're not there, I just sneak out. They don't even know.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Not really, Janet.
I thought it was funny. All right. So for some reason, I guess I didn't turn off my phone today. What can I say?
Do you?
I'm making noise.
I want to read the definition of filch.
Oh, please do.
Because I thought it, unusually simple. To appropriate furtively or casually. That's it.
Wow. That's brief.
Yep.
Very brief.
Yep.
And let me see if I can.
Oh, here's a synonym.
Oh, yay.
This
Go
is
for it.
like a written after it synonym, steal.
Ah, there you go. See? So it is a correct definition. But I still think filch is much less than stealing. It's a minor steal.
Yeah, it's like taking somebody's chapstick.
Yeah.
Right? Or, that I think that spouses and people that live in the same household filch off each other all the time. Right?
They could, yeah. That's true.
I mean, I think that's
true.
where it belongs.
Yeah.
Right? Filch is, if you go into the world of business, it's too kind a word.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So to filch something is to secretly or casually steal it. Now, I don't know how you casually steal something, but that's their definition here. This is from Merriam-Webster. The word filch also usually, though not always, implies that what has been stolen is small or of little monetary value.
So my
that
son
kind of
will often go, "Hey, can I have that change on the counter?"
Rather than filch it?
Well, so I think by asking with that leading question that you're going to guess, I think that's part of the nuance of filch is it says to get, right? It doesn't, you don't have to flat out steal it.
Right,
you
right.
can take it, or maybe you're allowed to have it.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
That's true, yeah. But filching is generally a little bit, sneaky, right? Kind of sneaky.
Is anyone sneaky anymore? I mean, besides big is sneaky.
Yeah, so I'm trying to find, I thought I was going to, it's going to let me search here.
We could say banks filch.
Oh, boy, isn't that the truth? Yeah, nickel and dime ya.
Well, right.
Yeah.
Look at your savings, checking statements, and when you find a mistake, I'll bet you $1 million it's not in your favor.
Yeah.
Right? All mistakes are against you.
Yeah, so
That's statistical theft or filching.
filching. So steal, purloin, snatch,
I like purloin.
misappropriate, pinch, pocket, nick. I don't think nick is good. Nicking something is like, like breaking it or.
Yeah, and it's kind of targeted.
Yeah.
It's not. Filch is to me a more spur of the moment, impulsive kind of thing.
Appropriate, that's not filch.
No.
If you appropriate something. No. They, of course, have words that are 3 words for one. That doesn't even work for me.
I mean, do you think Zelensky...
Topher is the best.
So does Zelensky filch?
No, he steals. That is not a filch.
I was going to say that's appropriated. Right?
That's true. You got that one. All right. Thieve, lift, snitch, hook. So, I mean, there's a lot more, but most of them are not appropriate.
Totally.
As opposed to appropriate.
Yeah, I mean, synonyms must have lost their value.
Maybe.
Except on this show.
I don't know.
But because no one defines them as right? They're not defined.
Well, and they call them similar words or whatever, and that just doesn't even make sense to me, right? Why would you do something similar? It's either a synonym or it isn't.
Well, and it diverges from it filches from language.
There you go. That's a good use of it. It filches from language. There you have it. All right, so that is our word of the day. And I think I'm going to cut right into our homeless issue. I'm going to see if I can pull up the picture that I grabbed and show you. Oh, my computer's going to be slow. So maybe I'll just talk to you about it first, and then I'll see if I can grab that picture. We've had lots of homeless discussions here. We had Paul White on quite a while ago.
And if I may, real quick,
Sure.
is to go into, I know that the right has been abused for saying we're mean-spirited. I think jumping on the homeless situation when it's a smaller number and you can solve it and keep those folks off the street is the kindest thing you can do. And letting them proliferate in their disease and mire and stuff is not kind. And our current government thinks it's just fine. I think it's more painful. We need to take care of those folks. Get them off, not take care of them, but not entitled. But I mean, we need to deal, process, and tell them what's acceptable and what's not.
Right. Well, because in that sense, it's kind of like children, right? You're allowing, if you don't tamp them down when they first air,
right,
then they're going to keep doing it and get worse and worse.
And they're entitled and they're allowed. Yeah. And then there's a supposition, what do I want to say? It's almost like they're right. You can't disagree with that because action wasn't taken. And, I don't think our county commissioners take swift and great action generally, but they have found this problem. At least they know it exists. Right. But we need to help those folks, get them off the street, and return our streets to... My family came and visited me and walked around. I had a cousin who was just couldn't believe how clean the sidewalks were, how clean the streets were. Right, this is 6 years ago. Walking downtown, no homeless, no bums, right? The sidewalks had no gum on them. It was clean. He thought that was awesome. Well, wow. Walk down there now.
Yeah, exactly.
What up?
Yeah, so I am prepared to share the picture I want to show you, but first I want to talk about what Paul White sent out I believe it was yesterday. Yep, December 2nd, and it was last night, and it was while I was working on the show, probably.
Is it it's the same kind of discussion from the Freedom Friday?
I think so, yeah. Education Crusade, we're getting overrun, Reno's homeless activity update. So he's updating on stuff that's going on. Homeless. So site number 1 on the Truckee River behind the GSR Casino. Now, I don't know if he's talking about this location because this isn't exactly on the Truckee River because that would be in Sparks. And in Sparks, it's clean. It's absolutely clean. But when you get to on the Reno side.
Well, right. And same with like downtown around the dump, right? Sutro and those streets around 4th, 6th.
Right.
Right.
So it says most GSR Grand Sierra Resort homeless camps were recently removed by RPD, Reno Police Department. It did not last. The homeless lawbreakers were just scolded by RPD. They were not ticketed, arrested, or given court dates. They're already moving back into the same area along with buckets of sewage, trash, and toxic waste that go into our drinking water supply. So it must be a different location than what I'm going to show you, but I do want to show you. I was wondering
about that, right? We always get the no dirt in the waterways, right? In the washways.
Right.
So I guess...
So this is a picture. I just went outside before the show, and this is a picture of what is being cleaned up, I presume, unless they're coming back. Maybe what he's talking about is that they're actually coming back.
They're not gone.
Right. This is not even a block from where we're sitting right now. And you see shopping cart.
Shopping cart is a big indicator, right?
Right. And this looks maybe like a, I don't know, ice chest, maybe?
It does look like an ice chest, which I'm going to say... It's something kind of new to me in homeless.
Yes.
Right? They need coolers now? They can buy houses. Right?
And then this looks like maybe a bucket. So I couldn't really tell because it looks like there's another over here where my mouse is. Looks like that's another shopping cart. So I don't know if they're moving back in or if they've moved them out. Last week, I believe it was last week, There were bicycles there. It was a whole encampment. That whole area.
It was like a farmer's market.
Yeah, all of this was full. And this is right in front of it. I believe that Enterprise car folks that rent cars, I think they own this property. I'm not positive of that. I didn't check the rules, but
so it's right under one of those giant signs, right?
Yes, that's the sign right outside our office there.
Well, right, but that's an easement. So signs are on easement. So that's outside their property. It's a street easement. So it's City of Reno property.
Gotcha. Okay. So anyway, but that's what we would see when we leave the office. Pull out the driveway, look to the right, and there you go.
Isn't it always so comforting when you're leaving to have like homeless meandering towards your business?
Sometimes they come in front and they sit on the lawn and they drink, and we'll come back and we'll find bottles of booze, the small ones, the little sample ones that people do, sometimes bigger ones, but most of the time it's those small ones. So it's just something that should not be happening when we pay millions of dollars to have a homeless shelter. And if they don't want to go there.
That's right. I mean, if we didn't have a homeless shelter, we'd have a different argument. But there's a place for them to stay. It was built for them. It was designed for them.
Right.
And best I know, they shouldn't have options on that.
So he does mention on the Sparks side of the river, 0 homeless. Okay, so that means that
they're kicking them to Reno.
Yep.
And so we have them all.
Well, I think that they don't even go to Sparks because Sparks enforces. So I believe that's what's really going on.
I was going to say smart of them. It's just smart of them. I don't know why we're less so.
Right. So anyway, so that's site number 1, and that just happened to be right down the street from us, and so I thought I would take that picture. Okay, now site number 2 along the railroad tracks from Record Street heading east. So I don't know if you're familiar with Reno at all, but Record Street has always had numbers of homeless folks there. Here, he's saying they have at least 100, count them, 100 campers, with more coming every day.
Wow.
The illegal campers stay on the City of Reno side of the railroad tracks. Again, not on Sparks. They don't camp on the railroad side of the tracks because the railroad enforces, the railroad side. I gotcha. Okay, because the railroad enforces the laws. So we have laws that cover this. They're not being enforced.
These are those old hobo laws, right? I mean, they don't want people being like run over by trains.
No, it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Recent weapons seen. So these are the things, because Paul goes out there with some other folks and they actually see what's going on.
I mean, he's not looking from an ivory tower. He gets out and
So recently seen guns, crossbows, and a 4-foot-long samurai sword.
Wow.
No sign of RPD officers removing these illegal campers or their weapons.
So hold it. I recall when homeless didn't have they didn't have anything.
Right.
What are they doing hauling stuff around? Now, I did see this week, and it's a little off target, but a camper around the park, around Regional Renown, right?
Oh, really?
Main downtown.
Yeah, that is.
It was there for 2 days because I was working down there. Or at least I saw it for 2 days, and I saw a policeman.
Get rid of it.
Well, stalking it, right? They don't know how to approach them, right? What is it? And then is there anyone inside?
Right.
There was a tow truck there. So this one was being moved whether people were in it or not. But we need more of that.
Yep. So it says RBD has cleaned up this area many previous times the wrong way. No citations, tickets, or arrests, and the homeless quickly return every time. And I guess that's easy for them, right? Because they just go move someplace else that they were booted out of, and then as soon as this one gets cleared, then they come back or maybe get booted out of the other one. I have no idea.
Maybe they'll boot me to my backyard, clean my house up, and let me go back into it.
All right, site number 3, and we have a total, just so you know, if you're wondering how long does this go on, it goes on for a while. There are 6 different sites that he looked at. Site number 3 is the newest homeless daycare center. It used to be called the Downtown Library. Now wait till you hear this. On a recent visit, the library's front door sidewalk was packed before it opened at 10 a.m. The crowd, 20 to 25 service-resistant, homeless-by-choice men. Dirty, chronic substance abusers, and included the mentally ill. When the library doors open, they pour in, taking over almost all the computers, eating, sleeping, playing on their phones, or talking to themselves, and bathing in the restrooms. That used to happen down at the Reno Town Mall as well. Let's see. Within 20 minutes, a total of 60 library patrons had entered the building. Patrons in quotes. 54 were homeless men. The other 6 were 2 mothers with 2 preschool children, each surrounded by these men. And then he, of course, makes comment, no responsible parent would have their young children near this situation. So you kind of wonder, maybe they walked in, didn't realize what was happening, and ended up there, or did they intend to be there? Hard to know. Side note, I've transported chronically homeless individuals around in my personal vehicles for years. It sometimes took weeks to get rid of the indescribable, funky smells typically left behind. Does the library thoroughly clean its furniture every day? That's terrible. That's just awful.
It's horrible. And they have carpeting, too.
I know. Site number 4. We should have some sort of ding.
Have you been, just a personal question, when was the last time you were in the library?
You know, I drove by it, but I have not been in there in a really long time. I think it's probably been, at least almost a year. Since I've been there.
I was going to say, I bet it's been like 5.
No, I was there. There was some event that happened, and so I was there.
Same with me.
Yeah.
But I mean, people would go.
It's a beautiful library.
Well, it is, but come on, folks. Those folks need to be at that shelter.
Yeah,
the library, the public library is not a homeless shelter.
Well, it has obviously become that. Okay, site number 4, the Downtown Plaza. It's the recent site of the lunchtime murder of a homeless man. The city council allows dozens of them to illegally loiter and use drugs and alcohol in this location every day. It is the future site of Reno's Christmas tree lighting and other holiday activities. If you're planning to attend, the recommended dress code is body armor casual.
Do you wear a wetsuit? Does it have to be like a half an inch thick or thick? It's got to be thicker than the needles.
Bring your burner.
Well, right, it gives like pine needles a whole new twist now.
Yep. Site number 5, the mega $1 million no one cares homeless campus, still full and growing. Aided by busloads of California's homeless that Education Crusade has observed firsthand being dropped off with their blankets and flotsam. What's a flotsam? F-L-O-T. Flotsam? What is that? What am I missing here?
So if
am I showing my ignorance?
Well, I'm just I make stuff up when I'm reading it, and that would mean their stuff, right?
It could be. Just their stuff, right? I'm going to have to look it up, you know that. But we'll do that.
Maybe it could be a word of the day.
Maybe, yeah. Still violent and dangerous, constant theft, fighting, drug sales by staff, and drug and alcohol use inside the facility continues and is increasing. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't want to go there, is because of that. And I get it, but it's up to our administrators
our administrators
that are taking care of the facility to be managing that problem, and apparently it's not being managed very well.
Well, the challenge I have is if you're going to spend more money on the homeless than you do on veterans and old folks, there's accountability, right? Because it's not right. Our veterans and old folks deserve more than the homeless population. They're not getting more, and the money that could help old folks and veterans is being withered away.
Maybe filched, perhaps. You never know.
So, right, this is like corporate. It's not filch. I personally think they're doing it on purpose for some unknown reason, but look out for people first, folks.
So, Paul comments, still 100% ineffective. The county has never been able to meet Education Crusade's challenge. And this is the challenge, that the entire CARES campus facility has never produced even one success story defined as someone who is clean and sober, working full-time in a real job, receives no food stamps or free phones, and is living independently in private, unsubsidized housing. Because they did a lot of promo about their success stories. And unfortunately, those success stories were still being subsidized, and they were still having assistance for many things.
They must have thought they were campaigning, because lying is allowed during campaigning.
Yep. So it says, still hiding these facts from the public, the county and city of Reno continue to refuse inside tours to anyone, so you can't go in. They don't want the truth about this failed program to be made public. So we're helping to make it public, because we shouldn't be spending all this money for something that's not helping the people that it's intended to help, right?
So I think we ought to put pressure on someone who, can help us, who is maybe potentially vulnerable, right? City and the mayor aren't helping us, right?
Right.
Best I can tell, the county's not helping us.
No.
Where do you go? Jackie Rosen.
Oh, there you go.
I think we need a letter writing.
Accountability.
Accountability.
Yes, she said she'd help.
Hey, you spent that money on that CARES campus. We better use it, or you're throwing it away.
All right. I like it. Let's start a campaign with Jackie and ask her to help us out.
Because our local government's not for us.
Right.
They're not for us, folks. They're for them over us.
There you go. All right, and here's site number 6. The new Reno Police Department property. Now, this is an interesting one. Reno's new police station is the last place you'd expect to find homeless camps, given the multiple laws banning illegal public camping anywhere in the county. But he says, we drove around the side of the RPD headquarters, and on the edge of their property were several homeless camps. They were in plain sight of the RPD office windows that overlook their unlawful presence. This would certainly include windows in the police chief's office as well. Okay. RPD is not fully enforcing the law banning homeless camps anywhere we have seen in the city. For the RPD police chief to allow illegal homeless camping practically on its own property makes a mockery of both the law and the city of Reno. That's crazy. Would you know which police department they're talking about? Is that down on 2nd?
Yeah. It's down by the stadium, you know where it's fence is down there.
Yeah, that's been there a long time.
Yeah, that pie-shaped space.
Yeah. Huh. Wow, that's very interesting. In almost 2 years on the job, RPD Chief Catherine Nance has been MIA virtually the entire time. Who has seen her speaking to or walking our Reno neighborhoods or the streets with her officers, or proclaiming her plans to stop growing our crime in general and illegal homeless camps in particular? She's been a hands-off, aloof, and publicly uninvolved administrator. I have to be honest, I didn't even know that our police chief was a woman. I had no idea. So shame on me.
It's a good thing she's out front and center.
Yeah. So, publicly uninvolved administrator, which are the last qualities Reno needs in a police chief. This problem is exacerbated by the fact that Chief Nance's predecessor, Jason Soto, behaved in the same manner. Well, you know, she learned from the top.
We're
right?
in blue state, right?
No. We'll go into that. Not today, but we will get into that. I have a report that I need to share with you. Sources within RPD report that Chief Nance is seriously looking for a new job. We should all hope that the rumor is true. Again, these are Paul White's words.
So, well, and I think for Reno, right, these folks that are growing and going to bigger cities, right, that's where most public servants want to go. I know this is a job that can be done successfully.
I would
She could do this. It's a small number of folks. Do it successfully and then go work for Chicago. Fix it.
Oh, my goodness.
It. Do something. Then maybe you'll get a job.
So to finalize this, I'm just going to read the whole thing because I think it bears reading. Reno is not fit with what we've seen from Chief Nance. Our homeless crimes and all crime-related issues have no hope of being resolved until the City Council and Chief Nance make the following admission. Continuing Chief Nance's tenure in Reno will benefit neither our community nor her. An agreement to part ways with Nance should be developed and implemented ASAP. Maybe that's what we talk to Ms. Rosen about first and then move on to other things, right?
Well, I think it's, my son and I were talking about Ohio State. They lost to Michigan this
Oh, we're going to
weekend.
talk about that.
Just real quickly.
No, we're going to talk about it later.
Okay, we'll
We're gonna
talk about it later. But everyone's calling for Ryan Day's head, right? He's been an amazing coach, right? He's lost very few games.
Sure.
However, he has failed to beat Michigan. And I'm like, yeah, people are just firing without, there's one or two guys maybe better in the world. Same.
Yeah. All right, a search should begin immediately. Who is a strong, leading, and proven effective, tough, hands-on cop first, and an administrator second? Who is fearless enough to stand up to Reno City Council and tell them that the only way they're going to get our homeless crime issues under control is to stop letting their liberal politics prevent the RPD from fully enforcing the laws and doing their job.
Well,
So I don't know if Paul has a suggestion. He doesn't mention it here, but he has the criteria.
The
So
local government's not listening to the citizens.
No.
Right? And this is something, our local government is not responsive to the citizens.
well,
Help me.
yeah. And we know that, I mean, just based on things that we've experienced through our elections and
But that's what it should be. Local government should be taking care of our neighborhood, giving our kids a place to go away from and come back to.
right. It's true. All right, so my next thing on our agenda is about immigration. So let's look at a website that I think everybody, and I've talked about this before.
So they're filters.
They're more than filtered. No. They're more than filters.
I think it's been made filch possible, and that's where all the people are from.
Yeah.
Right? Once President Trump puts his walls up and says talk to the hand,
Right.
then we'll have the harder element.
Yeah, so we interviewed, I believe it was probably almost a year ago, J.J. Carroll, who is a former Border Patrol officer, and he has since retired, but he partnered with a gentleman, I believe his name is Ryan Matta, and they have a website that I'm going to share right now, which is called What is Treason? It's not the first time I've shared this, and give it a second, and it will be thou. Oh, it's taken a little while, isn't it? It's just got the little spinner going there. What's happening there?
It's
That's
the weather.
crazy.
Everyone's a little slow.
It was working before. My picture came up just fine. That's crazy. I got it on here. All right.
I don't know what's going on, and it could be a product of Big, but my home internet is flickered, causing my Roomba some challenges. And I noticed the folks I work for had some flickering internet, not of their causing today as well. And anyway,
Well,
it's
maybe
another one of
that.
those monopolies that should be better.
Well, it looks like we're having some real issues here. I'm going to try my other computer and see if I can get it on this one. Bear with me a second here, because I really would like to share this this video. Hang on a sec. Oh, wrong thing. If I hit the right button, it'd be great, wouldn't it? Let's see. Here we go. So let's try this. All right, there it is. There is the... What are you laughing at?
Anyway, it's just ridiculous, right? I mean, I don't know. You show a current picture of the current president, and it's laughable, right? It's like entertainment.
Yeah.
It's totally entertainment. Speak of the liar.
Yeah, it's true. Sorry, folks.
You know, when people call others something, it's generally because that's what they are.
You know, yeah, it takes one to know one, that kind of thing,
Yeah.
right?
Well, the person being called the name doesn't think that way.
This is really interesting because it's not allowing me to change this screen. So I don't know if their website maybe. So here they have two full documentaries. This is why I was trying to share this, called Trafficked and Invaded. And they've both been released now. You can buy them online. You can see it was released 10/10. And there's some bonus things. Okay, so they want us to watch the trailer. Let's watch the trailer, and hopefully you can hear it as well. if I can get my thing to work here. Here we go. All right, so it's a 2-minute trailer.
A journey that's going to prove that Joe Biden and his administration are traitors and they have committed treason against America. I only have one question for you. But before I ask that question, I want to take you back in time. We're going to transport everyone back to January 19th, 2021, the day before Joe Biden takes office. And I'm going to stand before you and I'm going to say I came from the future 4 years from now. And I'm going to tell you what this man's going to do. First day in office, he is going to sign 94 executive orders to eviscerate every immigration policy Donald J. Trump has put into effect. He will take a border that was the most secure border in American history and turn it on its head. Within 4 years, Joe Biden will have arrested over 12 million people. 250,000 of them will be special interest aliens, which in other words, in layman's terms, terrorists. They'll be arrested and released. Since the time he's become president in the 4 years, Joe Biden has created the world's largest child sex trafficking organization in modern history. He will have arrested and released over 500,000 unaccompanied alien children called UACs. Their ages are from infancy to 17 years old. They just released them to a nation that is the #1 consumer of child pornography. Connect the dots. Our government is destroying America from within. I will not stand by and allow it to happen. That's why I'm going to go to across the nation, and I'm going to show you the manifestation of this treason. You're going to see crime that you can't even fathom. You're going to see a degradation of the social
Sorry about the spin.
benefits and welfare for American citizens being ripped from them and given to illegal aliens. You're going to see cities like Chicago, New York, Boston, Philadelphia,
And the pause.
them divert tens of millions of dollars. In New York City, they're going to divert almost $12 billion for illegal aliens. The city of Chicago has brought to its knees social welfare, murder, crime. You can imagine.
That's not a third world country. That's ours.
It's true.
I don't care about my residents. They can all pound sand. We are living in a world where our government hates us. And I am going to go on a journey and I am going to prove it to you. And the question I have after all of this has been done, if everything I tell you is the truth, and it is, do you call Joe Biden a patriot or a traitor?
It's a good question. It's a very good question. Is he a patriot or is he a traitor? Is anyone that's allowing what's happening at the border?
Anyone who acts to what I believe goes against the heart of this country has to be a traitor.
Yeah, you know.
He's not a patriot.
Definitely not.
Not in those last 4 years, or
No.
I don't think he's. I've always thought he's been on both sides of every issue.
Well, I think
I just didn't think he was hurtful,
yeah, I think a lot
and now he is.
has changed in the last, I don't know, probably 8 to 12 years that I've noticed that it's dramatically different as far as how the American people are treated, and that we're all called domestic terrorists if we try to speak our minds and redress the government. It's crazy.
It's so aggravating to me that 48% of the folks didn't see it.
Right.
Now they're seeing it.
Right.
And I hope, whatever, they can move on, but acknowledge it. But really?
Yeah, so that is What is Treason, and the website is thisistreason.com. You can watch both those movies. There's a VIP one that gives you a bunch of interviews and other things. I didn't want to keep, because it was spinning off and on, I didn't want to keep going on there. But that's probably my side of it, or maybe the way we're interacting with StreamYard, I don't know. But check that out, because it's an important film. It's an important documentary. J.J. Carroll's been passionate about this. I have reached out to him to ask him to come on the show. Hopefully he'll be able to do that in the future. He had said he would come back on. So Yeah, I think, I know I've watched it. He sent me a link on one of them, so I've watched that already. Very well done, very professionally done. It's sad though. It's very sad. Hard to watch.
It is.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
It is.
I mean, it's worse than Bambi.
That's a terrible comparison. Only you. Yes, it is worse though. You're right. All right. So hopefully everybody had a great Thanksgiving. I know I did. Did you?
I did.
Yeah, you had your son here?
I did. He was in, and well, we can talk UNLV football too.
I was going to say, let's talk about the football game.
Yeah.
We'll go from pretty devastating stuff to pretty silly stuff, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, with Ohio State, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's my alma mater.
I know. That's why I brought it up.
Well, and we'll get to it. But my son goes to UNLV. He's a junior. UNLV is playing Friday night, I think. They are playing Boise State. The winner wins the Mountain West Championship and likely a spot in the national championship.
Nice.
UNLV, no one from Nevada, no Nevada school's ever been anything like that.
That's cool.
And so UNLV's one win away from doing something that's never been done by a Nevada school before. So that's very exciting for him. And fortunately, I got that because my team took a biter and underperformed and got beat by a Michigan team. And then they had an altercation, and it was about, do you know
I
what it
love
was
it.
about?
Yes, I do. I watched the whole thing.
Sticking the flag on?
That's right.
Okay, so here's the thing.
So explain, first, for anybody who has not seen the article, the video, the whole thing, go ahead and explain what happened.
We'll also know that about 10 years ago, Oklahoma beat us. And Baker Mayfield stuck a flag on our field, right? This was old days.
Okay. So this year, Michigan
beat us.
Right.
Right. We missed 2 field goals too. But anyway, they beat us. And they tried to stick their flag on our logo
Right.
in the middle of the field.
Right.
And it was denied.
it was not well received. to
It
say the
was
very least.
denied. We got guys with pride. And just so you know, 4 other college football games had the same things happen. And the pros on Sunday had a couple games. So this energy from rivalry week is in the players.
So apparently then somebody came out with some pepper spray and sprayed that as well.
So those are the stadium police, I believe.
Right. So it just was
And it shows them
a real
spray-
conflama.
It shows them spraying it. I mean, I thought they were legit. They were protecting
They were
their
just
turf.
trying to,
And
yeah.
no one, beat anyone with any thick clubs or anything.
So when this happened before, did the same thing happen? When somebody stuck their flag in the
So
in the
no,
logo?
right, it went by. That's why it's been a thing.
Oh, okay.
Right, it's
That's
been
why you brought it up.
That's why I
Okay.
brought it up, because it's been a thing, and we protected our turf until now, and they tried to do it, and players weren't going to let them. Right, you got 100 300-pound guys on one side, 100 300-pound guys on the other side, and guess what? Mace was a good thing.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of some levity to the whole, everything that's going on.
So it's funny as we, for me, in my stage of life, right, there are, people have kids, young kids, right? People are living their lives and changing, and it's fascinating to watch. I feel like I'm watching myself in retrospect.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. So we'll get a little serious again. We're going to go back to the topic of immigration and talk about the fact that President Trump spoke to the Mexican president, and they apparently came to some kind of agreement, although at some point she said that she didn't agree with what he said. So it's Claudia Sheinbaum. And so, Trump is threatening tariffs once he gets in, if they keep sending people over and, all the drugs. And and the trafficking that's going on, which I believe that the United States is partially responsible for. So,
Did you see her brother on with President Trump last
oh,
night?
I did not.
Her brother would be Trudeau from Canada.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So here's what Trump's doing, right? Just like the Israel trying to give him the peace agreement as a gift. Both Mexico and Canada are going, hey, wait a minute, we're in line with you. We don't want fentanyl. We'll keep those folks away. So by stating something, President Trump has solved
a lot of problems.
A major problem, an unsolvable problem.
So it seemed.
Yes.
I think you close the border, you probably could solve a lot of things.
Well, right. And so shutting down that fentanyl stuff. Anyway.
Well, the headline that I saw said, migrants and caravans are taken care of before they reach the border. So what does that mean, right? So there were some caravans that started out from southern Mexico City near the border with Guatemala on November 5th, the day Trump was elected. At its height, it had about 2,500 people. In almost 4 weeks of walking, it had gone about 270 miles to, and I'm not going to say the name of the town correctly, but I'll try, Tijuana. No, it's not Tijuana. I know Tijuana. I know that one. Tehuantepec in the state of Oaxaca. Okay? So, let's see. In that particular city, Mexican immigration officials offered the tired migrants free bus rides to other cities in southern central Mexico. It says they took some of us to Acapulco, others to Morelia, and others from our group to Oaxaca City, said Barbara Rodriguez, an opposition supporter who left her native Venezuela after the country's contested presidential elections. Rodriguez said by telephone she later caught a bus on her own to Mexico City. In a statement Saturday, the National Immigration Institute said the migrants voluntarily accepted bus rides to various areas where there is medical assistance and where their migratory status could be reviewed, and said upon accepting the rides, they said they no longer wanted to face the risks along their way. Well, yeah. There's lots of risks, I'm sure.
Well, to me, that's Mexico doing their job.
It is,
right?
yes, yeah, that's what should be happening.
Yep.
I mean, if they're fleeing for asylum, there's lots of places to go for asylum. You don't have to travel all the way through to go to the United States.
I think there's a technical phrase or wording in the immigration policy having to do that folks who are trying to escape whatever, hedonism or some kind of abuse and are looking for help, you have to apply to your nearest country.
Exactly. I read that, yes. So the second caravan of about 1,500 migrants set out on November 20th, made it about 140 miles to the town of Tonala in Chiapas State. There, authorities offered a sort of transit visa that allows travel across Mexico for 20 days. So they're letting them travel for 20 days. Sheinbaum had said she is confident that a tariff war with the United States can be averted, but her statement the day after she had a phone call with Trump did not make clear who had offered what. Apart from the much larger first caravans in 2018 and 19, which were provided buses to ride part of the way north, no caravan has ever reached the U.S. border walking or hitchhiking in any cohesive way, though some individual members have made it. So for years, migrant caravans have often been blocked, harassed, or prevented from hitching rides by Mexican police and immigration agents. They have also frequently been rounded up or returned to areas near the Guatemalan border. Well, that's not what you see or hear going on as far as what our reports are that we're, getting. It's like they're coming over, they show these long lines. So is that propaganda or is that real? I guess that would be my question.
Well,
because they're saying here that they're stopping them, they're diverting them.
But I think that's since the election. I think since the vote, there's been a change in behavior all over our country, for sure.
Yeah.
Right? And I think the Sheinbaum gal, tough for her, right? I mean, she will stop that, but she can't appear like she's kowtowing because she's a woman of a big country, right? I'm just saying she can't look weak.
Well, no, and I don't think she should look weak.
Well, right.
I think that.
However, anyone who talks to President Trump, whether it's Trudeau, so he's already been baptized. He's already been through the ringer, so he doesn't take personal offense. Everybody who, right 4 years ago, who went through that ringer, right? Trudeau's lining up to help. She's helping. I'm just saying for her people, that's a tough,
Yeah, I know.
They need to, I always tell my son, when folks want to solve problems, they only get solved when folks don't take credit, right? When people don't care about credit for solving stuff, everything gets solved. But when people care.
Yeah, it's true. Well, you are listening to What's the Story, and this is the kind of coming to the close of our first hour. We will be taking a little break here. We're going to put you folks on pause. We're not going to go off, but we are going to probably roam around a little bit.
Filch yourself a cup of coffee and a
filch myself
donut,
some
and we'll be
coffee
right
and
back.
a cookie.
Yeah.
No, I'm getting a cookie. I'm not getting
nice.
a donut. All right, and I got some water here, so I think we're good to go. But we'll be back in about 7 to 8 minutes, somewhere around there, a little bit after 4 o'clock. We'll be back with you, so you can hang out, go get yourself a cup of coffee, take care of biz, and then we'll be back with more. Some of it publishing. We do have to talk about some bombings and some UFOs, and we got a bunch of stuff that we haven't covered. I thought I was going to be quicker than this, but, it just took a little while. All right, folks, thank you so much for listening. And again, we'll be back in about, 5 to 8 minutes, and we'll do some more. So take it easy, and see you soon. This is What's the Story. Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is What's the Story? My name is Janice Hermson. I'm here with Ed Knoll for our second hour, and thanks for hanging around with us.
Yeah, built some time from us.
Filch some time. There's our word of the day. He uses it whether it's right or not.
It's always right.
Oh, yes. Well, you're always right.
So no. When people understand, you're right.
Oh, I gotcha.
If they don't understand, yeah, I'm clueless.
I'm probably clueless a lot. What can I tell you?
That's just because you're aware. The rest of the world's all clueless and didn't know it.
That could be. Could be. Yeah, you're right. All right. So we are glad that you stay with us and listen every week. And we hope that you find some value in what we share. We talked a lot about homelessness last hour, but I want to make sure that I cover this because I led with UFOs, and I just think that, I need to cover the UFO thing, right?
So you're not going mainstream media where you advertise something that you don't talk about for like a year?
Yeah, I could do that, but, and sometimes I do miss things just because we talk about a lot of things. And I always try and have enough material so that if it goes faster than I think, that I'll have enough left over to, chit-chat and share with you. So.
Well, I figured that's why I'm here. You have the local tongue wagger.
That's right. So let me find my UFO story, because what I found interesting, so the first story that I saw was that there were 4 mysterious lights above Washington. It was the Capitol.
I saw the video.
Did you see it? So and I'm sure that a lot of people saw that, and that's cool, right?
It looked like the cube dronage, kind of. You know how they were all spaced out like drones fly, kind of?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
There was
But it seemed to me, when I saw that, I said, I think this has happened before. And it was a real similar report, the way it looked, right? And so I did some searching, and I found that the UFOs buzzed the White House and the Air Force blamed the weather in 1952. So here we are in 2024. Really similar. Now, it was the White House versus the Capitol, but come on, folks, really?
Elon Musk commented on this.
Did he?
He did.
I didn't see it.
Twitter commented on this, and it was city lights just reflecting off the clouds.
Oh, how funny.
So there were street lights.
Was that what it was?
That's what Elon Musk said it was.
Okay, well, in 1952, it says, this particular report is by Dave Roos, actually updated in August of 2023, originally published in 2018. So, hey, writers, this is a clue. Reuse your material. Look at this guy. He reused it a couple of times.
So, as I get older, it's just amazing to me. But this speech in, 1952, less than 100 years from the Abe Lincoln's proclamation, right? We're talking about UFOs. I mean, to me, we've grown quickly in the world, and we're still catching up.
Well, but when you look at 1952 versus 2024, and we're still looking at UFOs as if, what is it? It's still a UFO, and they've given it a new name now. I don't remember what the new acronym is, but it's not UFO anymore.
It's unidentified flying objects.
No, they have another acronym for it, and I don't remember what that is. They don't call them UFOs anymore. But at any rate, so 1952 is the year America caught flying saucer fever. So when a rash of strange sightings was reported in the skies over Washington, D.C. that summer, the press and the public demanded answers. Were these unexplained radar blips crafts that in some cases outran jets, part of a nuclear-armed Soviet invasion, a very real threat at the height of the Red Scare, or were they evidence of something far more mysterious? So the sightings were in July of 52, also known as the Big Flap, and they hold a special place in the history of unidentified flying objects. And I think that when I was growing up and into adulthood and was reading the newspaper, it always seemed like the media did a good job of, and believe me, I rarely say this anymore, but they did a good job of doing comparison things. They saw something like what happened, and then they would find other historical events that either mimicked it or something, and I don't see that anymore. Do you?
So, now we get into the whole press, but I mean, they talk about people changing their views and the way they receive media, but I just think it's they're poor. They're bad.
Right.
If they were good, people would watch, just like any other show.
Yeah,
but
and
they're
like I
not
said,
good, and they're not accurate, and people don't believe them, and so
Right.
they're going away.
Right, and so a story like this, which is why I pulled it up, and I actually posted the UFO story, the original one, and then I posted this behind it to say to people, hey, pay attention. Look, this has happened before. We've had historical things. In this case, they didn't want to talk about it. They were hiding everything. It says by 1952, the UFO investigation unit was called Project Blue Book, so they give it a nice name, right? And but my point here really is that we need to learn from history, and yet we're in 2024 and still looking at lights out there and saying, oh, UFOs.
It's because they just deny, right? To me, it's the same as Biden, right? So Biden, why didn't he say, oh, I don't know, maybe I'll pardon him, right? But he was adamant against it. Same with UFOs. The government's adamant against them. I think it's highly fascinating that, like, most folks believe in them. Our imagination, right? Believe in life somewhere else. And besides the optical illusions and I think military test stuff and all that kind of things, people still believe, and it's one of the good things about people.
I guess I would say on that score, I've thought about that, and I thought, well, I could believe in them, but a part of me is like, in this, I'm old, and in all those years, I've never seen an alien. If they existed, I would think that I would see one, right? And so you kind of feel like maybe they don't exist, or maybe they really don't want to be like around us, right? If they do exist, they don't want to be here.
If they do exist and do think that way, we could assume they have superior brain power.
I think so, yeah.
If they see us and join us or jump in with us, their minds should be questioned.
I think you're right. Yeah, it's all those cartoons that say, beam me up, Scotty, there is no intelligent life here, right?
Well, right, or the little space rocket lands, the guy comes out, looks around, gets back in, and takes off.
Yeah, exactly. He's doing the right thing. So I don't know if anybody, I'm going to switch gears on you and go to a post-election audit that is I don't know if it's being held now. This is a November story, but I didn't think that we covered it, and so I wanted to mention it. Texas Secretary of State Jane Nelson announced a post-election audit for the November 5th election. How often do we hear about audits at all from anybody? And how about a Secretary of State? Ooh, that's something, right?
How about somebody wanting to be accurate?
Well, I think it's awesome. I think it's really awesome. So it's the largest post-election audit conducted in state history, and I apologize if it's already happened, and I haven't seen any reports on it since I read this. So
I just heard that it happened.
It did happen already?
So,
just that it was going to happen.
Correct.
Yeah. So they're known as partial manual counts. These audits check the results of designated races through a hand count process. Oh no, you're going to touch them?
I don't know what's more dangerous, hand count or homeless.
I don't know.
Right? They're both like, get your arms and not fix it. Fix our problems.
So the quote is, Texas leads the way in election integrity measures with checks before, during, and after voting, said Secretary Nelson. This year's audit will be the largest conducted in the state and underscore Texas's commitment to transparency. The partial manual count will be much larger and more expansive than previous post-election audits. To provide greater transparency and accountability to the Texas election process, the Secretary of State's office has made the decision to include multiple offices and additional polling places for this elections audit. According to KRLD Radio Dallas, Nelson's audit will focus on the 2024 presidential and U.S. Senate races in Texas. I'd love to have that here. That would be great.
Well, we'll have the results and we can talk about it, and maybe we can share them with our locals and go, hey, look what other responsible communities are doing.
Yep. Counties will manually count all the races in at least 1% of their election precincts. Nelson is also requiring them to do a partial manual count in these additional precincts or polling places that are randomly selected by the county. I wonder how random that is. They have until 3 days after the election to begin the process, so it should have been done already. The deadline for finishing the manual count audit is 21 days after... Oh, the envelope, please. Oh, well, it didn't print. What can I tell you? So it's 21 days after.
The sun goes down.
The sun goes down. There you go. So, and Texas also refused Joe Biden's DOJ monitors to interfere with the state's elections this year. So, what can I say? I will follow up on this. The counties are ordered to start the audit 3 days after the election. So that's all I got out of that. Sorry if I missed some of it, but sometimes when I print these stories, they don't all print because of whatever they do on the internet, right? Let's blame the internet. I left you with a cliffhanger here.
So I was watching an old trailer from the X-Files, and it was Mulder talking to Scully, and she goes, Mulder, you really just got to leave the internet alone.
And that was way back when.
That was way
Oh, my
back
goodness. That was forever ago.
Well, and he was seeing UFOs then.
Oh, he was. I remember.
So, right, we can link our stories.
My younger daughter loved the X-Files. She loved to watch them.
I'm a fan. I mean, I've seen them all 100 times. I still watch them.
She really enjoyed them.
If I don't remember, I still watch.
And I would watch with her occasionally. I didn't do it real often, but, So what can I say? So I'm trying to see if I can find some follow-up on that. News about the Texas audit. Maybe we got something. You never know. Texas Secretary of State conducting post-election audit. So, Houston Chronicle. That was 25 days ago. So I know it's a little bit dated news, but I still think it's important to share because, everybody needs to know what's going on.
Well, I mean, it's the same as Biden, like saying his son's thing was political, right? Everybody here in our community, if you challenge the vote, you're un-American, right? How dare us challenge them, even though they act like filters, right? So, I mean, they don't breed confidence in me that they have a clue. They appear to be hiding stuff.
Yep, it's true.
Right? They should take I don't know. If they're not hiding stuff, then I don't know.
You don't know?
They're just guilty folks.
I don't know either. So I started to try to read this article, and then it just cuts out. County officials will administer a manual count in 3 additional precincts and polling places randomly. Although the manual count can't change the results of the races, it brings awareness to issues in the tabulation that cause a full recount. So it can't bring any change. So if they find out that the other person, well, I guess they're not going to do anything about it because they probably already certified by this time. So that's kind of crazy, but I guess if it instills some confidence in folks,
so
that's an interesting outcome of that, right?
So that thing, kind of the certification of votes, right? So is that like President Trump's coming up with candidates, and he needs advice and consent, right? For those folks to be approved. Right. So is there advice and consent in that space?
I don't know. It's really interesting.
I mean, what does that mean, really? Seems to me like the pressure that's been applied to our individual supervisors and council members is unwarranted.
Right. And I want to talk a little bit about that certification thing, but I did find the answer to my to finishing up my 21-day thing. So counties must begin the count no later than 72 hours after the polls close and must be completed no later than the 21st day after Election Day. So it would have already probably just finished up last week. So I'm not real.
28th, right?
Yeah, well, I'm not real dated on this, but
That would have been like Friday, I think.
yeah. So so this is a show, apparently, right? This is just for show to say, see, look, we're counting, we're looking. And one of the things that I saw, and I can't remember I wish I could cite the actual NRS on this, but in Nevada, they will not let you audit something, or they won't let you look at something until after certification. Now, how ridiculous is it? If you're going to be checking something, why would you have to do that after it's already certified? Obviously, they're not really wanting to check. They want whatever happens, and that's it, make it stand. We don't care if it's right or not. I mean, that's really what that's saying.
Our government is an oxymoron.
Oh, man.
That's exactly what they are, and it's wrong.
I think it's wrong.
Well, you can't.
Terrible.
How can you investigate? Like I said, something is certified.
Yeah.
If someone's going to certify it,
That's crazy.
I think so too.
That's just crazy.
But it is good. I'm learning more about our local government, state government, and federal government. The more we talk about it, the more we get in depth, and I hope our listeners are engaged as well, the same, learning more.
Yep. Yeah, and interestingly, I did hear that they are today in the Washoe County Commissioners meeting, I believe it's today, they are doing or presenting from the library. They are requesting that the commissioners basically vote on overriding what the people voted on
Right.
just on November 5th and said we do not want the additional, I don't remember if it's like 0.2% or something, going to the library. So the library is saying, oh my, we have to have that money. And now they're asking the Washoe County commissioners, or I don't know if it's all the commissioners or just Washoe, but to override that
They're
vote.
trying. I mean,
That's crazy.
The attorney general came out and spoke against the people. Right? Again, said he was going to keep doing what he's doing regardless of what people think. Gavin Newsom came out and did similar. And best I know, they're like eco-terrorists taking their own little trip, right? They're not of the people, for the people.
No, and that brings me, oops, sorry folks. That brings me to the Shasta County. I don't know if I have that story handy or not.
What happened there?
Oh, yes, I do have it. Citizens of Shasta County, California declare a state of emergency and demand certifiable election results.
So where are we, Reno? Where are we, Washoe County?
Shasta County, California.
Love it.
Redding. I live there.
I love it.
I can't believe this.
There's one island of hope.
I know. I can't believe it's there. The people have had enough of corrupt elections and demand their right to a certifiable election. So you might ask the question, why in the world California is blue, California, only, well, that's what you would say, right? They're blue. And why would they want to recount anything? Why would it matter to them?
The State House in Sacramento is open 24/7. You can go pass a law at like 1:09 tonight. I mean, I'm just saying, right? It's too much.
So here's the statement that's being made. In Shasta County, California, the results of their elections are not legitimately certifiable. Concerned citizens pointed out the following, and this is a quote from Patty Plum. Good afternoon, my name is Patty Plum, and this is my husband, Ron Plum, and the date is Friday, November 29th, 2024, here in beautiful downtown Redding, California. I want to make it clear, first of all, that I am speaking as a concerned citizen of Shasta County, not as an election commissioner, so apparently she is one. This press release today is in response to our appointed clerk and recorder, Thomas Toller's comments regarding the protest and demonstration here at the street corner near the election office on November 26th, 2024. The U.S. Supreme Court in 1915, U.S. versus Mosley, concluded that we not only have the right to cast a vote, but to have that vote counted accurately. Shasta County did not follow the user manual provided by Hart Intercivic. So they don't use Dominion, they use Hart. And as a result, she cites the page and everything. As a result, a printing error on live ballots occurred. 1 out of 2 ballots are being rejected and must be duplicated. So every other ballot's being rejected. California voting system standards are not being met in Shasta County. The voting system, Hart Intercivic, as it is currently utilized, has a misfeed rate, a rejection rate of approximately 250 ballots per 500 ballots scanned. So that's pretty bad.
50%?
Yes, this far exceeds the state voting system standards set forth by the Secretary of State that allows for no more than 1 misfeed per 500 ballots scanned, or 1 over 500.2. The duplication process is conducted in private with no meaningful observation. The process is complicated, lacks a clear workflow.
Why?
Why is it misfeeding?
Why is it complicated?
I'm not sure.
Right? I'm just saying, right? That's everyone's excuse for hand counting, for any.
No, they're saying that the process now is complicated.
I know. I'm just saying for any simple kind of thing. And look, there's one party. The other party's not even paying attention, right? And again, it's deception, not for the people.
These complaints are heard across the country, including in Nevada. Most concerningly, the duplication process is done without maintaining chain of custody, and observers are not permitted to look over the shoulder of the individual creating the duplicate ballots, nor are they able to look over the shoulder of the individual double-checking the accuracy of the duplicate ballot. AB 969, this is in California, provided for cases such as ours by creating a new law. And then she cites the law which states that, and it's California EC 15270.3, which states that an elections official may conduct a manual vote count in the event of a natural disaster or other state of emergency in which use of a certified voting system is not feasible. So here's her final quote. Quote, "We declare that what is happening here in Shasta County is a state of emergency in which the use of a certified voting system is not feasible. We insist that a 100% manual hand count be conducted to ensure accuracy and transparency in Shasta County elections. We demand that election officials guilty of the maladministration described above be placed on administrative leave effective immediately." And I believe this was the... yeah, it is. It's Joe Hoft, where we got this story. So thanks to him and his coverage of different election issues. And basically, why would you, as an official, why would you argue with that? You have half your documents are having to be redone.
Well, right. And again, it's for the people, right? The government's saying this is good enough.
Yeah, it's not good enough.
It's not good enough.
They're good enough.
No. I mean, they're for themselves. It's so easy to see when government's not for the people.
Kudos.
It's just not that hard.
Yeah, kudos to Shasta County.
Yeah, them.
Working.
Rock on. Right? I mean, so Nevada, politicians, right? Let's just picture in your mind the state of Nevada and make sure it's separated by counties, right? You got your counties. I know there's some weird ones there. Okay, now color them red and blue based on who won. Look at that geography, folks. Look at that best I know, it's all red.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, if Washoe went for President Trump, I think Las Vegas did too. And so we're a red state.
Oh, did you hear him?
We're trying.
He never says
we're
that.
trying to be a red state, but the blue people got their bulldozers up going, no, I want to be woke.
I can't believe you're saying that.
I love it. I hope they're running. I mean, I get them, going home and closing their blinds and stuff. But now's the time for change. Now's the time for positive change.
Positive change. Oh, hang on here. We've got the new term for UFOs is unidentified aerial phenomena. So they are UAPs instead of UFOs. We just had to change the name, just mix it up a little bit, make it more 21st century, right?
I don't know. Is it woke now?
I don't know
Is that
about
like
that
a woke
piece.
term? Was that named by like the Biden administration?
I don't know. He posted a long link here. I'm not sure what he's linking to.
I see it, but it doesn't. It's not appearing as a link to us. I mean, it's just gobbledygook.
Yeah, it is pretty much gobbledygook. Sorry, Steve, but thanks for your comment, though, and thanks for looking that up for me. I didn't have a chance to look, but I knew that it was something else.
Well, I was looking at the Tribune India, right?
Oh, is that what that is?
That's one of them.
Yeah.
The other one's Google. Who cares about that one?
Oh, that's probably. Oh, this one's the UFOs over India, or over Washington, rather.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm over India.
Well, isn't it funny? I mean, best I know, it's all UFOs. When you're driving in this town, I have a convertible. If you look up, there's planes in 4 quadrants of the sky, virtually all the time, right? I mean, when COVID happened and planes weren't flying, that was eerie.
Yeah. Hey, did you hear about South Korea declaring martial law?
No, I don't think I did.
They did. I thought I printed that story out too, but apparently I did not. Yeah, they declared martial law this morning. And then by this afternoon, they're now apparently, or by this evening, I guess it would be probably they're taking it off. It was something about the fact that there were people in the government that were doing certain things, and they didn't. I don't remember.
They're
Sorry.
cleaning their own house.
I don't know what they're doing, but I thought it was interesting that they declared martial law and then they turned around and undeclared it really quickly within 24 hours. So what can I say? It happens. I just remembered because I saw Epic Times reported on that.
Is it like a procedural thing so they can throw their trash at North Korea or something?
Well, apparently they are claiming communist infiltration, and that's why they're declaring martial law. Spotlight communist infiltration, and I don't want to read the whole thing because I know this is copyrighted stuff, but basically, for the first time in 4 decades, they invoked the authority accusing the opposing Democratic Party of aligning with communist North Korea. So,
can't we say the same thing?
I think we could. Well, I don't know if it's communist North Korea, but, maybe China. Maybe China.
Cuba, I think.
Yeah, he revoked martial law hours later after Parliament voted to lift the order. Well, I guess he heard the will of the people, perhaps, right? So his statement...
Do people hear?
I don't know.
Do people really hear the will of the people?
I don't know. His original statement, I declare martial law to protect the Free Republic of Korea from the threat of North Korean communist forces to eradicate the despicable pro-North Korean anti-state forces that are plundering the freedom and happiness of our people and to protect the free constitutional order. That was in his address last night.
It's funny. North Korea should be getting weaker. Best I know, they're having all their soldiers go to Russia and die.
Well, and I heard that
there should be a lot less men in North Korea.
Yeah, and I heard that when they do that they were fleeing Russia too, that they were trying to escape there. I mean, I can see volunteering. Yeah, I can see volunteering if I'm in North Korea.
So, but Russia's got prison folks, right? I mean, best I know, it's like those old movies where you see a guy, the leader's got a gun ready to shoot his own people.
So let me play devil's advocate a little bit. How do we know what's real in these other places unless we've been there, right? Because we don't trust the reporting. We don't know if anything's changed.
Right, isn't that why?
I mean, that's just my question.
So isn't that why we network, right?
Yeah.
So the fact is, right, if we cared enough, we'd find somebody there that we trust.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to do.
Yeah, but that's hard to find, unless you're really connected. I'm not that connected unless somebody connects to me and says, hey, I'll go.
Well, I'm not either, but I've lived a number of places, right? So in my life, I've lived a whole bunch of places.
Yeah.
And, I know, people here and there.
Yeah. And then I also had a story about China cutting the cables. I don't know if I have that one up here either.
So I heard that one. That was a Siemens cable, right? I think
it was.
That's a big, fiber optic thing,
Yes.
transatlantic thing.
Yeah, and they're being accused of using their ships and somehow...
I'm going to tell you, if you look it up, it happened before. I think it's happened wasn't that, this is one of those great achievements.
Yeah, it seems like it's happened before. Yeah.
This was one of those great achievements that happened in 1980 or something, I think.
Right, yeah, something like that, yeah.
My memory's not always great, but it's been cut multiple times, I think by the Russians before, and it's been a target.
Yep, it has been, and so now the Chinese are being accused of it as well, so who knows, right?
Wouldn't you think they just stick a sub down there and plug into it, right? Have it run through their sub. I thought they were the data kings, right? I thought they were to suck up all that data.
You would think.
I think they got so much data they don't know what to do with it, right? They're making rice bowls with it.
Is that what they're doing?
I don't know. But to me, it's got to be knowledge soup, right? I don't know how they could tell anything from anything.
I don't know.
Unless they got better filters than we got.
That could be. All right. So, and then I did have this story, going back to our little bit of immigration, about the New York Governor Kathy Hochul now says she will assist President Trump's deportation force to get rid of illegals with criminal backgrounds.
See,
how amazing is that?
Now, Nevada politicians, this is how you survive. You buy into what's coming in and do it.
Well, and I think that she's being very specific when they say illegal with criminal backgrounds. So, she's not saying that we're going to let everybody and his brother go, but the ones that have criminal backgrounds, if they don't know who they are, I don't know how you know which ones have criminal backgrounds.
There was some ridiculous number, 65,000.
Yeah, it was a lot.
That are criminals. How could you become a criminal that fast?
Oh, I think that they already were. And they came over and they knew it, but I want to know how they know it. That's my question. So
likely they tell you. Right, all the information they get is from them.
It could be, yeah. I broke lots of laws.
Right, we know it's not a secret that the criminal element, the daily criminal element, isn't always the sharpest knife in the drawer.
I guess. Oh, look, and now Steve, he's going to become our secondary co-host here, right? Our online co-host.
It appears he's proving our musings. He's documenting our memories.
Thank you, Steve. A Chinese flagged ship cut Baltic Sea internet cables. Yep. This time, Europe was more prepared.
Yes.
How about that? Yeah, it's a little far for me to see there. My glasses are for close, so I'm kind of squinting a bit here. What can I say? Anyhow, so thank you for that.
Famous Hillary quote.
Oh, look at that. That's a good one. Hillary Clinton in 2008. Go ahead.
If they've committed a crime, deport them.
There you have it.
What?
Yeah,
what?
Well, and
Hillary Clinton said what?
Kathy Hochul is agreeing. While some liberal mayors and governors are continuing to put illegals ahead of their own citizens, New York Governor Kathy Hochul has signaled that, at least in some cases, she will work with the Trump administration to deport illegals with criminal records. Although she continues with liberal talking points, the move to address removing any illegal in contrast to most of her party. So during remarks to reporters, she stated, "Our immigration system is woefully broken."
Did you hear? She spoke this morning on, and so the immigrants, whatever you want to call them, are staying at the hotel, right?
Well, they're paying for that, right?
Yeah, right. They paid for the hotel already.
Right.
They bought it. They paid like $280 million already. Who owns it? Some Pakistani.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, it's public. They're paying U.S. dollars to house folks that don't belong here to someone outside the country who's pocketing the money.
Wow. Is it money laundering? Sort of.
So that's just wrong.
So she says that our immigration system is broken. It's been broken for decades. There was an opportunity to make meaningful change that the Republicans in the House of Representatives, they want to talk about that bill that was not going to do what they say it was going to do.
They're trying to jam all kinds of stuff that's not people friendly.
But I'll tell you this, those who came here legally, we want to get them jobs. Well, how did they come legally if they just walked over the border?
Right.
I don't understand that. I have 460,000 open jobs in the state of New York. I want them to get the proper work permits. How about giving this to Americans?
Right.
I think they're American.
That's why I know the unemployment number isn't zero.
No,
right?
It's not.
And what she's talking about are those special deals with Haitian folks and Cuban folks.
Right.
And other countries.
Why not you make some deals with Americans?
I'm with you.
Give them jobs.
I totally agree.
Yeah. So, but her statement is that's separate from people who are criminals. Someone breaks the law, I'll be the first one to call up ICE and say, get them out of here. I've never heard her say that. Never heard anybody say that. That's a liberal.
So she's looking for re-election. She's the first Democrat I've seen with a strategy other than just crying your hands.
No, it's better. I think it's fine if that's what's happened. There is a difference in categories of individuals. I just had a meeting this morning with my team that's been studying all the scenarios that could play out over the next few months and what we need to do to prepare. We'll be announcing more about that and also making sure our final requests to the Biden administration are secure. And so that's something else.
She's talking about the state of New York, and I think what she's also doing is covering for Eric Adams, who's like right under the bus. I think someone's got a knee on his throat telling him to watch out about breathing. I'm just saying he's committed a bazillion things that's being investigated.
I know.
And none of it's good.
No. She says, again, I'll do a report on what we've achieved in the next couple of weeks. A reporter asked for clarification. A reporter asked another question, a follow-up.
I can't believe she allowed it.
Just to be clear, are you supportive or not supportive of deporting undocumented immigrants whose only crime is either crossing the border or overstaying? Is that like if I jaywalk? Is that kind of the same only crime? Is that kind of how they're considering this?
I think it's a little filchy, right? It is.
So filchy. Her quote, if they're here with legal papers, like they came and they were seeking asylum, like this 224,000 people came to New York, they're here legally in search of asylum, and that process will play out. So that's her take on it, and that's how she's kind of parsing the statements.
I've had, and you've had likely, great experience with folks that are not citizens due to mortgage. I mean, right?
Absolutely.
And where we live, but with mortgage, and it's people want to pay their bills. People want to do the right thing, right? People want to do their stuff. They just need to be allowed to. People need the right to fail.
Yep. All right, but there are other people who commit crimes or are known to be criminals before they arrived here. When those are identified, I'll be the first one to help get rid of them. I don't want them here. I don't want anybody terrorizing my citizens. So that's the difference.
Look at her.
God bless.
They're her citizens.
God bless.
So I do love that, right? She's looking out for her constituents, and she's moved her position.
Yep. So she says, the comment on this article, it's by Gateway Pundit, Margaret Flavin. While Hochul's desire to get rid of criminals is positive, she continues to sidestep the fact that entering the country illegally is a crime. And that's kind of what I was talking about, too. So, yeah, it's kind of stinko, right? It's good, though. I like the movement of these folks that are at least, gaining some ground and going the right direction.
Yeah, I think the criminals are easy, right? If they happen to be in jail, right, pull the bus up, let them on, and drop them off. I mean, anyone who is illegal, and I just still like illegals that hang out on corner. How are they there?
Right.
Right? How are they allowed to? I mean, to me, they're in that homeless space.
It's true.
Right? It's a quality of life thing that's lesser for me.
Yeah.
And everyone else, I think.
Oh, so Steve, now you want to read his comment here?
That would be Metro New York City Mayor
Adams
wants migrants charged with crimes deported from New York City in major ship, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but that's just because he's in trouble. He's going down like a sinking ship. He's just trying to get attention off him and his aides for corruption. And
yeah, that very well could be. He's been quite cooperative, hasn't he? It's an interesting development.
It's rather interesting when you have stuff on people, how they seem to like step in line.
Yeah, it's very interesting. All right, so I did want to talk just a little bit. I don't have a whole lot on this, but I think I touched a bit on what the Friesen Publishing Group had said about publishing at the beginning of the year, the state of book publishing at the beginning of 2024. And part of they were kind of interviewing them because they're a big group. And I love that it's Friesen because it's a family name for us. We're not related to them. I'd love to be, but we're not. But they were talking about the cost of paper and the availability and everything and how that changed from 2020 on and how it affected the publishing business, especially self-publishing. And I'm wondering now if authors are experiencing any change in that, because what we're seeing here is that the costs are still high. So paper costs have gone up and they're not coming down. Nothing's coming down in most cases, right? Although I saw gas coming down.
Well, so anyway, has anyone been around paper plants, right? We talk about battery making. Those paper plants pretty toxic too, right?
Right.
Smell, nasty. People aren't into that.
Right. Well,
so you just pay more.
Well, but from an author standpoint, they've got a book, they're printing that book, and especially if they're doing a print-on-demand situation, are you finding that your books are costing you more now than what they did? Say you published in even 2020 or 2019, and now we're in 2024, 5 years later, you're still printing your book, because if you
got to be like Amazon, variable price.
Yeah, you almost have to, or it's digging into your profit. So I'd be really curious to know, has it changed how you market? I'd love to hear from you, JaniceHermson.com, go to my contact us, and drop me a note and let me know what's happening with you. Is it better, worse? Have you just gone to more free things to kind of offset for it? How are you managing it? Because I know how we're doing it here, and that's some of what we do is we look for other avenues and ways to do things that don't cost as much, kind of offset so we don't have to raise the price because our costs have increased. But, and it's hard for us when we're printing for authors because we have to tell them, we'll have to check the pricing on that because paper costs have changed. Maybe we suggest to you do a different stock, or, there are just lots of ways to address it. But if there's such a small margin for authors anyway, I just am curious to know what's happening with you. So if you have a chance.
I mean, it's my observation that there's more writers than ever before.
Yeah.
Right? Is that true? I'm not like, I just know it's that way. I don't know.
No, you're right. There's a lot of people out there.
And so none of this stuff has stopped people.
Right.
And so that's why it won't change.
Right. Are you going to ebooks now instead? Are you pushing that more because your margin can be better there? So, or do you even care? Maybe it doesn't matter to you. Maybe the writers want to write, they're going to do it, and that could be very true, but I'd love to hear from you and hear what you have to say about that. And it just would be interesting. Did you bring a book today for a book blitz?
So I have a little bit of a book story, and I'm prepared to discuss a book.
Oh, all right. Let's do that.
All right. The Holy Bible is my book of the day.
How about that?
And not only because I think it has a resurgent with there is now a discussion that Christianity can't be removed from Western society, right? So Oklahoma now has to teach the Bible in Western civilization.
Didn't they get challenged on that? Weren't they?
Every county.
Oh,
And I heard every county in Oklahoma voted for President Trump, right? 77 of them. But it all went red. They have brought the Bible and Bible stories into the classrooms to teach Western civilization.
Wow.
And our beginnings, which is most appropriate. And I'd love to see more of it. It's not wrong.
No.
It's accurate. I've always felt that there should be all religions in school.
I agree.
Not no religion in school.
I agree. Because
And so the Bible wins again.
Wow, look at you. All right, there's his book of the day. All right.
That's it.
Perfect. That's it. Well,
No quotes or anything, or
nothing like that, huh?
no, or what day was it published? Nothing like that.
Nothing like that. No reviews.
No,
you know?
no, best I know, everyone, I will likely say this,
Holy
every publisher in the world has probably printed a Bible.
Could be.
Right.
Yeah, very well could be of some sort. Yeah, we actually have. We have.
And so I think that's Western
Depends on the
civilization.
version and
So
all
anyway,
that.
I just thought that very exciting with school choice now and schools opening up and actually got their eyes open. They're looking at real stuff. And the Bible's a big part of that. So anyway, that was my...
Well, and I agree with you that it shouldn't be limited to Christianity. There should be investigation about every faith, that there is. I see no reason why you couldn't do that. I mean, maybe there has to be a criteria around it. I don't know. Maybe
to me, I
particular
think
study, maybe area of the country or the world.
sociology people, theologians, right? To me, whether it's the Quran or the Buddhism or whatever religion you want to read, I mean, best I know, I've done some personal reading in the space, and they're very similar.
Oh, yeah.
All of them are almost the same. I mean, you can't tell a
Conceptually,
secret. You can't tell a secret to 10 people and have it come back around any closer than what they got going on, right?
It's true. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. That's an interesting concept, and I'm glad to see that it's happening somewhere, and that it's not. Well, I did hear it was being challenged, but I don't know where that went. So we'll look at that as well.
Well, and also for folks that don't know me that well, all right, I'm right, and I'm in that space, but I'm not much of a churchgoer to support the Bible, but I
There you go. All right. He just gave away a secret. All right. And I chose a book off our shelf, actually. It's from Greg Iles. It's The Death Factory. It's a novella because I don't have a lot of time to read long books, although I will, but I have to do it in, short bursts and kind of take a lot of time to do it. So when I
I've been
saw
reading some for years.
I thought this was good. The Death Factory pen cage novella. And death is the end, and if a man doesn't speak before it silences him, then his deepest secrets go with him. I love that quote. That's very cool. So anyway, if you like Greg Iles, I know he usually writes like big, fat books. So this is a novella of his, and we've got it right here in the store. So you can come by and pick that one up. And I don't have how many reviews. Doug's not here, so.
One thing that I really love about that I'm looking at, I mean, it's like,
Maybe
2/3 of the size of a paperback.
Yeah.
I mean, you can put that in a coat pocket. It's the same size as a phone.
And I got to tell you, because Lenore and I were looking at this, and I said, well, we never would have allowed this to leave our store, right? The margin on it is terrible, and this is not the way to sell a book. But I got to tell you, because as a printer, this is what we look at. And I'm like, okay, well, this is okay, but boy, it's really close. So we realized that what they did is they took the original manuscript that they probably did in a 6x9 or a 5.5, 8.5, And they didn't even shrink it. They just shrunk the paper. They just printed it on a smaller version, but they didn't adjust anything.
Yeah.
Nothing. No. Like I said, we would never allow this to leave our shop. But what can I say? But I know that Greg Iles is a good author, so don't take that as being a negative. We didn't publish it, or we didn't print it or publish it, so there you go. But we do others, and when you have a minute, check out LaRue Press. Go to lrpnv.com. Go to our bookstore. If you click on one of the books, it will take you to the main store, and you can see the different things that we have to offer. We do have a new marketing thing going out. I'm not even going to tell you what it is. If you feel like going on the website, you can check that out. And we're just going to start it up probably beginning and it has to do with book reviews, just so you know.
I think everyone needs some musty books in their house just because the smell is worth it.
Yeah, and if you're an author, go to our website because you'll want to know what we're doing.
Yeah.
You'll be interested. So anyhow, that's my little teaser for the close of the show. And we will be back again. I think we're back next week.
We're leaving already?
Yeah, we got to go.
Oh.
Time. Yep. It's
I haven't
time.
even talked that much.
Hey, what can I tell you? Well, again, we appreciate you folks that are listening. And if you're listening to one of our podcasts, you can still drop in a comment. We look at them all the time. And Steve Knoll, thank you so much for participating. We appreciate your comments. I don't know if Ed will say that, but I will.
We do. We do.
Yeah, I knew there was a little bit of something there.
It's all good.
It's all good. All right, so thanks, folks, and we'll see you next time. Be sure to listen on 97.3 FM. That's an America Matters media station, and we appreciate everyone, and we'll see you next time. I have to remember how to end the stream. There you go. We're ending.